Welcome back to Palladium Theater. John, your cruise director here. We've got Carlos right back there, your activities manager. Carlos and I are going to be sort of out there with you guys with our microphones here, and we're going to have our panel of guests up here, guest officers, I guess we should say, up here. This is the Captain's Corner, a nice sort of informal but informative presentation for you guys, a chance for you guys to ask questions to our senior officers here on board. So if you would, please help me welcome to the stage our captain, our chief engineer, our hotel director, and our environmental officer. And we've got, I think we have a couple more on the way, going to be making their way. Obviously, busy sea day today, so they're going to be making their way. Yeah, come on out. Yeah, come on out, grab a seat. Our hotel director here, and of course, our environmental officer as well. So again, very sort of informal. So if you've got a question you'd like to ask, just feel free to throw your hand up in the air, and Carlos or myself will come to you with a microphone, and we'll get underway. I think the captain, do you want to say a few words first, I think, before we get started?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know, out sunbathing or shopping. I passed by the shop on deck 6, it's packed. Men standing in the background, women in the front. Hey? Anyway, up here, we have to the left, we have our environmental officer, Sunila, all the way from San Andres, Colombia. And we got our chief engineer, he's from Suomi, Finland. And we got Anthony Curtis, or Tony Curtis, all the way from Norfolk, England.
But I had to move to Canada because the wife's the boss.
Anyway, so if you have any questions, please ask, otherwise I will keep on talking, yeah? Please. But it's nice to see so many people here in the morning because it's a nice day outside, isn't it? And it's perfect to laying out on the outer decks and get some sun before we go back home. Yes, please.
Good morning. I'm Sonia from Virginia, and you did not state where you're from, Captain.
I'm from not the North Pole, but close to it. I'm from a country called Norway, Oslo. So we still got a few Norwegian left in the company. We was in the beginning founded by Norwegian, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, and until flag was changed in 2004, we had 455 Norwegians, and they left. All of them left shortly after. So we are approximately 60 left in the company. So mainly chief engineers, some ref engineers, and captains left, and quite a bit in the office also.
We have a question just right here, Captain.
I'm Lee Kremens. I'd like to know from the chief engineer, how often do you go into dry dock?
Every 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we do all the of course the hull cleaning and painting and then all the underwater reparation what have to be done, stabilizers, bow thrusters, and propulsion.
I know the captain likes sailing, and I have a spare book magazine.
Sailing. Thank you very much. So on my vacation, actually, I do sailing, and I sail quite a bit. I'm from Oslo, it's close to the fjord, and every week I sail regattas on sailboat, Sweden yachts, on X-yachts. So we are sailing with friends once or twice or 3 times a week. Not being on board here. And I live 10 minutes by bike from the marina. So a lot of sailing also here.
We nearly picked up a sailboat last week, actually.
Yeah, last week, actually 2 weeks back, was beautiful weather. We were returning to Cape Henry, and around this time in the morning, 9:30, the officer on watch, he saw a small echo on the radar. It was a SART echo. It's a beacon that's on the release. It was very, very weak, and he called me. He couldn't see much, and then I came up, and then in the horizon we could see a sailboat. But what was strange, what we were looking at, it was like it was sailing in circles. And we went over to the sailboats, and we slowed down the speed, we launched our rescue boat, staff rescue boat, and the chief officer, first engineer, and the quartermaster went over to investigate. There was no one inside the sailboat. We sailed very close to it in circles to come down the waves. And it's a beautiful little sailboat, and went inside and into the cabin, no one there either. We called the US Coast Guard, and it showed up that the gentleman had left Norfolk a few days earlier and got his small sailboat and with bad weather, and he got hit by the boom and was unconscious in that sailboat for more than 7 hours. He woke up and released his emergency beacon, that's the SART, and also the satellite one, yeah. And the US Coast Guard came and picked them up. It was sad to leave a beautiful little sailboat there. It was impeccable and sailing along in circles, yeah. We left it, so it's probably out there still, yeah. A little sad. But this specific gentleman, an old Englishman, he has tried to cross the Atlantic he had tried to cross the Atlantic Ocean 4 times before with very small boats. So one time he lost a brother on the way over and was saved. And then I think the second time or third time he was outside Brazil when his mast broke. And this time, the fourth time I don't know what happened, the last time whatever, he got hit by the masts. His small sailboat, small cockpit, and he had an accident aboard, yeah. So bad luck. It's probably the last time he tries to get across the Atlantic Ocean. But he's 72 years old. But this time of the year, a lot of sailboats are actually crossing the oceans going towards the east, because, you know, during the fall season in late October is a huge regatta that starts from Tenerife. It's the ERC regatta. There was it's a 70, 80, 90 sailboat, if not more, that sails together. It's basically to gather them in one place and sail together over the Atlantic Ocean. The trade winds goes in that area from east to west, and they sail there in the Caribbean for the duration of the winter. And this time of the year they're going back to Europe again. So we have met a few of them, and also in St. George's, there's many sailboats that wait for nice weather, relax a little bit before the last shot over the Atlantic Ocean, 3 weeks over to Azores, and then they're going back home again. All the Americans going that way also.
My name's Tony Plaisted. I'd like to ask the captain, what is the future of the big cruiser that you've got one out there now, which I saw on the television last night, which is the Freedom of the Seas, the biggest in the world, I gather. Would a ship like that be available to take us to Bermuda, or are the facilities of Bermuda not appropriate to take a bigger boat into Bermuda? Although I understand that Bermuda is very dependent on the tourist trade. And is it handicapped by not having facilities to take, first of all, more boats or the big one?
Yeah, the biggest ship we have today is actually that movie you saw on TV. It's actually from the Building of Freedom back in 2006. Today we got a ship that called two ships called the Oasis and the Allure. They are quite a bit bigger. They are 220,000 gross tonnage, 6,400 I guess maximum. The Freedom class is 4,100. But again, the Freedom can go to Bermuda and dock there. We don't do that yet. But we have the Explorer going to Bermuda. The Norwegian Breakaway came up out a few weeks back. That one has already been in Bermuda and docking once. That's why they're fixing up the dock in front of us when Norwegian Dawn was docked. So they're pretty much dependent on cruise ship and tourism. But some of the problems, I used to say that the Nordic Empress, Empress of the Seas, that was the biggest ship ever to enter into this to St. George's, to the Cut. We went there first, dockyard, and the last stop was in Hamilton. That was a proper Bermuda cruise in my opinion, because we saw the beautiful events to 3 places. And of course docking in St. George's is really nice, and also docking in Hamilton's amazing. It's a prime estate, middle of the city, 2 days, really good. But the big ships can only dock at the dockyard, the Navy dockyard where we docked. And the Breakaway is a big ship also. It's actually slightly bigger than the Voyager class.
And I noticed in Hamilton yesterday that there was the Prince of Dam, which is a big ship, I think.
No, and it's not actually. It's not that the Nordic Empress or Empress of the Seas was 48,000 gross tonnage, biggest ever to enter the Cut into the to Hamilton.
Yeah.
So she looks big because downtown, everything looks big in downtown there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fascinating sight. All right, one last question then. I went up to, my wife, we went up to St. George's area, which is so beautiful up north, and we went through on the ferry through that narrow gap you talked of, and that does restrict the type of boat that could get in there, right?
It does. That's as I told you, the Empress, the biggest one to go through there. You could only enter when we had nice weather, because we only had 7 or 8 meters on each side to get into St. George's.
How wide do you think it should be?
Well, okay, the pilot wants to make the cuts bigger, both in St. George's and into Hamilton to take bigger ships in. But the locals said no, and of course the environmentalists these days said that no also. So we're happy where we are at the dockyards. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much.
So question is right here, Captain.
Hi, my name is Donna and I'm from Middletown, Delaware, and this is my first cruise and I'm really enjoying it. But in light of what happened with the Carnival cruise ship a few months back, how is Royal Caribbean prepared to handle like disasters or emergencies like that at sea?
Yeah, what happened to the Carnival, they had a blackout, yeah? So the ship was perfectly safe. But what happens when you have 3,000 people on board, yeah? After a few days without toilets working, and the air conditioning is not that nice anymore being aboard a ship, is it? So actually they're looking into for new design to add more, because you have blackout, we got the emergency generators that runs the basic functioning aboard for the bridge and the engine control room and emergency light, but no comfort equipment as toilets and a shower, yeah? So they're looking into to install in the future more generators and systems that at least have one fire zone where you can have proper toilets and you can have a shower, yeah? So it's going ahead. Our ships are slightly more different design according to our chief engineer. He knows more about that.
Yeah, also the ship was designed differently than our ships. They had only one switchboard room, which was distributing all the power. We have two here, so we have redundancy. We have also two separate engine rooms with two separate fuel supply, and apparently they had also all the power cables went above that engine which got fire. So the cables burned down, so they couldn't distribute any because they had only one switchboard room. That was the main reason there. And as Captain said, now the Carnival is also looking the new design of their new buildings.
So we have part of that design also. We also the old ship from the Voyager class, the 2 compartment ships, totally separated from the 2 different engine rooms, and also everything is doubled up with cabling towards the support and so forth. But in good old days, on board the ship we got the forecastle. The forecastle is a 4 part of the ships, yeah. And after we got the poop deck, for a reason. So when they told the good old days, yeah, you went to the poop deck, yeah, another poop, obviously, yeah. And there were arranged toilets in the back on sailboats was an aft part of the ship. So we still say forecastle and poop deck. Some call it forward and aft mooring station. I'm a sailor, forecastle and a poop deck. Yeah, it's port and starboard still.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to gather this information. I have 3 questions. 1, in what year did this particular ship make its first cruise? 2nd question, how many passengers in this particular ship now? 3rd, how many crew members? And 4th, how many countries are represented by your entire staff? Thank you.
Okay, Tony Curtis over HD will answer that. The first question was, this ship was built in 1996, and I was actually working on the Southern Seas in that days, yeah. I was docked in Miami when this ship came in from Finland first time, and we had the naming ceremony in Miami in 1996.
December 14th.
December 14th.
I've got to hear it.
Yeah. But anyway, I was there. That I can't remember. So, how many guests do you have on board, and where they are from, the crew members, Tony? And which countries?
We've got 2,000, I think it's about 2,300 guests on board. We've got approximately 796 crew, and they come from approximately 52 nationalities.
Question just right here.
All right, I think this goes to the cruise director and programs.
I'm sorry, I'm not answering questions this morning.
Sorry about that. I'm asking anyway. Back in the year 2000, I was on this ship, and we were on a Sunday, and we had an ecumenical service, church service. I noticed this year we do not. Is this something that you folks aren't doing anymore?
About a year and a half ago, it seems like, if I'm remembering correctly, they used to send, as part of our enrichment program, you know, we have lecturers that come on board as well, depending on the destinations. And as part of that enrichment program, they used to send us either a priest or an interdenominational minister who would lead services. For some reason, they have stopped doing that. Basically, the way it works now is, if we have a guest approach the desk on the first day, or maybe approach me or approach Carlos, your activities manager, and say, hey, I'm willing to do, I'm a minister or I'm a priest, I'm willing to do a service if you'd like for us to, then by all means, absolutely we'll do that. But yeah, for some reason, it's no longer a part of the official program to send someone on board. It's on a voluntary basis now. So if we do get them on board, absolutely. We can't always list it in the cruise compass, because sometimes, you know, as you can imagine, we print the cruise compass a day in advance just for operational purposes and things like that. So if they don't approach us until the next day, then it's a little difficult for us to get the word out. But we do it, but it's on a voluntary basis.
Okay. Another question. I understand all the employees here, they work on a 9-month schedule and then they have 2 months off. Is that it?
Not all. It depends on a lot of the different divisions are broken down differently. Like for example, I do 4 months on, 2 months off. You have some people that do 6 months on and take 2.5 months off. You have some that are willing to extend their contracts. They may think, well, I've been here for 5 or 6 months. I've still got some energy. I don't really have anything going on pressing back home, so I can extend for a couple of months. So it varies. Obviously, it has to do with watch keeping as well. The amount of time you can. Yeah, maybe you can talk a little more about that.
It ranges. Is a wide spectrum. The Marine officers basically they do 10 weeks on, 10 weeks off.
We have better agency.
I'm talking about the employees and they're waiters and waitresses and folks in
the hotel officers on that side. The hotel officers do say 4 months on, 2 months off. Then you go to your waiters and your servant attendants. They do 6 months on, 2 months off. And then you've got other areas which may do 8 months on, 2 months off. So 8 months is the max.
Thank you.
I'm Sandy from Pennsylvania. When is the inaugural maiden voyage for the Quantum?
Thank you for the question. It's a very nice question, actually. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, but I think you know more about that ship than me, or the guys up there. Actually, yeah? I know exactly what you know. What I've seen on the video on TV. Actually, yeah? I know that bumper cars, and I got the North Star. That's all I know about the ship. It's big. It's slightly bigger than the Freedom class, and it's going to be the fall season 2014 date. That's all.
November, December 2014.
It was so secret we had to sign It was so secret we had to sign a waiver that we would not discuss it. And I know it's been kept under wraps for for a few years now. And it was called the Sunshine Project. That was all we knew. And I think, like the captain said, it's a complete surprise to us as it is to you what's on there. Yeah, it is now. Yeah, that's right. I think she's coming out next year.
There's a date, obviously, but the date we don't know up here. Ask the loyalty ambassador, Danny. He probably knows about. Okay, then it's a secret. But sometimes we need to have secrets.
We have a question just over here on your left-hand side.
Yeah, I'm Dale. What time will we be going through the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel? Tomorrow or whatever?
Tomorrow we pick up pilot around 8:30, 8:45. So 9:30, 9:45 approximately, depending on traffic, we'll pass over the tunnel on the way up. Tomorrow evening, and then we have piled them over 10 hours, and we will be the key bridge will pass around 6:15 in the morning, 6:20 in the morning, depending, 6:10. Now we have the same pilot. He comes on board down there in Norfolk, and Maryland pilots. They are with us all the way up to the dock up in Locust Point.
Yeah, I would like to know the water on the ship. Is it desalinated, or if not, how do you store it, and when do you stock up, restock?
Yes, ma'am, it is desalinated, most of it. Some water we take also from Baltimore, but mainly we produce the water in our desalination plant, so-called evaporators. From seawater, we remove the salt in very, very low pressure. Actually, it's vacuum pressure. So basically, it's a cooking process to remove the water, and then we store it to our tanks. First, treating, it goes via mineralizing filters, and then we need to add some chlorine for the US public health reasons, but also that it kills all the possible bacteria in the piping system. So then it's stored, and we have a capacity of storing the water like 2,000 tons, which is gallons.
Is enough. If not, we got every other bottles per year.
194,000 gallons. No, that's consumption. Sorry. But we go through 194,000 gallons a week.
Any more questions? No questions, hands up.
Right here in the front.
The ladies are leading, and they're leading heads.
As usual.
What is the length and the width of the ship? The length and the width?
We are almost 280 meters long, and 32 meters wide. So we are passing through you can pass through the Panama Canal, the old one. They're long enough. And the Enchantment of the Seas, the Caesar ship, she was actually cut in two in 2005. A new section was put in. A new section is 22.22 meters, so she is 302 meters long. The Enchantment of the Seas. So she has bigger pool deck. She has more shopping area and boleros among it.
So the length is 917 feet, and the width is 106 feet.
Question all the way in the back here.
Who is driving the ship right now?
Hey! That's a good question, yeah?
Remote control.
You know, always on the bridge there's always someone up there, yeah? And just now we have first officer, Sergio, all the way from Croatia, on duty, and we have a quartermaster. And in the evening time we got always one first officer, one second officer, and one quartermaster lookouts. And tomorrow when we're picking out the pilots, we got the red condition, we call it, and we're going to be on the bridge, going to be first officer, second officer, quartermaster, and another additional lookouts, because there'll be a lot of steering also, so half an hour steering each, and the pilots and me. And we are taking turns actually, going up the river, because it's 10 hours, so I'm going to be there until around 11 o'clock, go to bed again until 5 in the morning, and then chief officer leave me, and then at 3:30 in the morning staff captain comes up. Because there's so many hours on the bridge on the way up that we need to take turns to get up there. So always a bridge officer on duty upstairs, and in the engine room is always a second engineer on duty together with a motorman.
And we are having more people also when we are coming to the Gulf, and when we are starting the maneuvering.
Question just right here in the front.
Hello, my name is Adrian. I'm from Virginia. So my question is pretty much for the whole panel. What work history prior to this prepares you for your position? So I guess it's for everybody. You can briefly just...
Sunilda.
Morning. As environmental officer, I'm on board mainly like an auditor. So I'm a marine biologist, and I also hold a postgraduate degree as marine resources manager. And let me see how I can break this down. Mainly, we have to have experience or in environmental regulations, international environmental regulations, mainly from the United Nations, the maritime organizations. A bit about wastewater treatment, solid waste treatment, air emissions. So I would say it's a mixture of everything, but comprises all about the marine environmental regulations and how we are treating, disposing properly of all the waste streams that we're generating on board.
For the engineers to become as a chief engineer, at least those days when I was at school in my home country, Finland, in early 80s, it was 3 years schooling, then you need a practice to become the third engineer, second engineer, first engineer, and so on. But then you need to practice also in shoreside facility, which is repairing or fabricating the engines. So then you get your chief engineer's license, but that doesn't guarantee that you get the position of as a chief engineer. So it might take 10-15 years before you can become a chief engineer. Nowadays it's different. It's just 3 weeks course in the internet. No, actually, it's more studying these days.
And to become a captain or deck officer today, it all depends on the countries. But most of the guys goes through some sort of college or technical school. Some goes to the Navy, and it's based on studying and then sea time to get your first license. And then when you got your first officer license, then you need another 18 months on board a ship, on board sailing, and then again another 18 months again for the last license, or 36 months. So it's all based on studying bachelor degree normally, and then sailing time to get up there. And also back in Norway and in the States, we also have technical schools. You go 10 years school first, then you go 2 years technical schools, and then 1 year practice, then 2 years again, and it takes like 6 years. Step by step to get your licenses, but all is based on sailing time at sea before you get you get your license. So it's the same as pilots. We need hours or sea time, and then depends where you're working. Commercial side of it, it goes. If you work on bulkers, it goes fast, much faster up. Some tanker companies, you come really fast up in the ranks up to captain. You work on the serious big company, LNG carriers, it takes many years also, because it's very strict to, if you work in a company that LNG tankers, it's the companies that charters the tankers, requires certain nationalities, many years they are in the company and in the trade also, and it's very strict. And the recruitment takes typically 10 to 15 years to become a captain at least.
I used to be a taxi driver. No, for a hotel director, you're basically general manager of the hotel. So you look after everything from food and beverage to housekeeping to the revenue areas to the facilities, maintenance of the ship, on the external area, on the inside areas, and housekeeping. So for a hotel director, you've got to have a degree in hotel management or equivalent qualifications, or at least several years' experience. I started off quite a few years ago now. My parents used to have hotels in the UK, and I sort of born into the business. I was going to actually try. I was trying to be a pilot, but I couldn't get I couldn't get physics or math very good. So they said to me, well, I think you'd be good in catering or hotels. So I went to university in London at Westminster and studied there. Then branched out, worked for some large companies like Sheraton, Four Seasons, And then I think it was around 89, 90, ventured overseas to the Caribbean, went into resorts, openings of new resorts, etc., training, teaching. And I was in, some of you may have heard of Atlantis in the Bahamas. I was working there, and I got a call from Royal Caribbean about 15 years ago. So would you like to join a cruise ship? And decided it would be a good choice. Thought I'd stay for a couple of years. I was 190 pounds at the time. Walked past the buffet and I never left since.
Hello, I'm Mark Stern from Indiana, PA. I want to thank everybody in your whole crew for a terrific job that you're doing. And for a first-time cruise, we're very, very impressed. I'm facing all my questions to the engineer. I'm an engineer in a university power plant, and I was interested in seeing if you could tell us some information about what type of equipment you have and how many crew members and what's all involved with the power system for the lights and for the props. Thank you.
Down in engine room we have 4 diesel generator jets. This is basically diesel electric power plant. With those diesel generators we can produce a little bit more than 48 megawatts, which equals close to 60,000 horsepower. And then the power is distributed between the hotel and propulsion, so that it depends also always of the speed. But let's say with full speed, 1/3 goes for the hotel and rest goes for the propulsion. Now we are using only 2 engines because the required speed is less than 13 knots. I mentioned that there is a 60,000 horsepower. They are very hungry. So during one cruise from Bermuda to Bermuda and back to Baltimore, we consume approximately 130,000 gallons of fuel. Is that enough information for you, sir? 12 cylinders each, V engines. The manufacturer is MAN from Germany, and the generators are from France, Chesapeake.
Question? Oh, sorry, just right here in the front.
When on holiday or vacation, do any of you take cruise?
Good question.
I never been on a cruise ship, except when working.
I was once, but that was in the river of Nile in Egypt.
And I did it once, that was in 2009.
Yeah, I did it once because my wife told me to.
I just want to say how happy everyone seems on the cruise. All the workers from the cleaning to the big wigs. I'm curious as to what is the salary range from a room cleaner to an administrator?
Difficult to answer, really. The salary ranges vary. I mean, most of the what we call Category C employees are mainly tip-based, gratuity-based. But it ranges from mainly to the national average of what you would get on a shoreside establishment.
Is the question right here?
I'm curious as to the waiters and assistant waiters in your dining rooms. These folks are so impeccable in what they do. I'm interested in how long the training is and what they have to go through in order to become a waiter or assistant waiter.
Yeah, thank you for the question. We normally start off with the recruiting process, which obviously we have partners in several countries around the world, and Royal Caribbean have set up training centres in certain countries where we have a team of trainers employed by Royal Caribbean, and also mainly from Miami head office, who are over there training the waiters, etc. So they get basic training over there. And once they're employed and they come on the ship, they spend a good week to go through all the safety and basic training, and then there is a continuous program of hands-on training throughout their contract. They have obviously chances to be promoted, so they have a system where they are rated on their performance. He's not here at the moment, but we have a human resources division on board with a training and development manager who goes through what we call developing leaders. It's a program that basically teaches people certain skills and obviously management skills, and they have the chance to be promoted through a process. And there's a lot of hotel directors actually who were waiters, went to maitre d's, went to hotel directors in the company still. So there's a lot of room for obviously promotion within those ranks.
I have a question as to the ratio of crew to passengers. We've noticed over the years that the ratio has been changing. And is that going to continue as you go forward? And the other question is, Captain, what ships other than this have you sailed on?
I think the ratio guest passenger has remained more or less the same. Actually, they've been increasing the last years compared to when I started here. And this ship has more crew aboard now than when it came out back in '96. Because new positions and so forth have been implemented aboard. So we actually had more crew on board than when it started back in '96. Which ship I've been on? I started this company on the Southern Seas doing 7-day cruises from Miami, and it was very nice. Of course, I started working on tankers first for Skaugen. This company was founded by 3 Norwegian ship owners. I worked for EM Skaugen. When they sold the ships, I told one of the board members, maybe cruise, and I went to flight school. And then they called me and said, contact this man in the Oslo office. When I come back home, I ended up here. So I started on the Sovereign, and then I went to the Splendor Seas when she was rather new. And then I went to Finland, worked in Finland, and I also was on the Voyager Seas. And then the Empress Seas, Nordic Empress, and back to Voyager again. And then to Finland again for quite a while, and then I was on the Liberty. And then I've been on the Enchantment of the Seas, and now I'm on the Grandeur Seas. So I've been on quite a few ships actually, yeah? So throughout the years, I've been there for 16 or 17 years in the company. So that's typical. I mean, we start here, we tend to be here. Yeah? In the beginning, first officer did a bit turnover. As they're coming up in the positions, you stay for many years. The captains have been here for many years, and the staff captains also. And it's not a bad job actually, after all. And also what's good here, we got 10 weeks on, 10 weeks off. You work aboard here every day, then you got 10 weeks vacation, some courses in between. So I'm quite happy as this, because Norwegian winters are quite nice. I'm back home for my 10 weeks or 6 weeks, depending on if I'm traveling or not. I can go skiing, and I can leave the winter and go into the sun. That's good.
Question is right here in the front.
How long have you been on this ship, and how long will you stay?
I signed on board the Grandeur Seas in the 14th of April in Panama, in Colon, and I will sign off the ship 28th of June in Baltimore. So it'll be 11 weeks aboard this time, more or less. And I've been aboard, I think, 16 or 17 years now, yeah, in the company. On this ship, I've been for 2.5 years, almost 3 years, in between, of the minutes.
We normally do 3 to 4 years, and then we transfer to another ship.
Do you like it on board here?
Yes.
Yes. And then your friends? Boyfriend? No boyfriend? No. Not yet.
She was saying that she wanted to know about that. The same question for everybody. The same thing. She wanted to know about the 4 of you in the panel.
When did you sign on?
Oh, I signed on. When was it? Last year. I think it was February the 14th. That's right, Valentine's Day, because I forgot my wife. Yeah, that's right. Remember it well. February the 14th, and I signed off July the 3rd. And I came here the same time as Captain Espen. So I came here about just over 2.5 years ago. and been with the company 15 years coming up.
I came on board now for this contract 15th of March, and I will sign off June 14th with my wife, who will come on board after 10 days. And I have been on Grandeur a little bit more than 1 year. Signed on first time last year, February.
I came on board on, I think it was March 29 in Colón, Panama. I will sign off on June 14th in Baltimore, and I've been on board the Grandeur of the Seas almost the same time as the captain. Maybe 2 years and a half. I think we came on board together to the Grandeur. Around 2 years and a half, something like that.
Because me and we worked together on Enchantment, and I worked on Enchantment for 3 years, and then I brought her up to Baltimore. I told you before, sailed from Baltimore a little bit, and I was sent to the Grandeur because I speak Spanish, or can communicate in Spanish. Because the Grandeur and Enchantment used to sail from Panama for the Latin American market, and we tried to build a market down there, and we have been sailing full in 5 years from Colón in Panama and Cartagena every week for the 5 months there. We've been full, not a single berth empty, and very high ticket price, the third highest ticket price in the fleet from both Cartagena and Colón. So very successful sailing from that part of the world.
Hi, I'm Steve from Marlborough, New Jersey. I have 2 questions. I'd like to know how much, to sustain a cruise like this, how many pounds of vegetables, meats, and so forth do you have to bring on board?
How many carrots?
Yeah.
How many carrots, yeah?
Lots. Here we go. Right, here we go, look at this.
You got the same one also, yeah? You know that?
No,
you came in there?
I didn't give it out.
Oh, okay.
I should have given. There was a few spelling mistakes on it, so I didn't give it out. 150,000 eggs a week.
Have you seen the chicken farm?
That's one chicken, by the way. 10,000 pounds of flour, 30,000 pounds of beef, 25,000 pounds of chicken, 20,000 pounds of pork, 10,000 pounds of fish. A lot of protein there. 6,000 gallons of milk, 12,000 gallons of ice cream. Wow.
Ben and Jerry's.
18,000 pounds of vegetables, 700 cases of beer, 450 cases of soda, and 3,500 pounds of coffee, which I reckon 500 pounds is what I drink. There we go.
And just a second question. I know you're sailing with a new menu now.
Yeah.
How was this new menu determined?
Yeah, good question. And yeah, it's. I must apologise in advance and be quite open and honest with you that we've had a few hiccups at the beginning of the cruise, and I do apologise. We looked at our menu selection, quality, and choice over the last few years, and I think we've noticed that it had basically maintained or in some ways gone down in the standard. So the senior vice president and CEO looked at the opportunity to improve for guest satisfaction. We also have these new venues like Chops and Giovanni's, and other ships has Portofino's, and it was really offsetting the dining room. These new specialty restaurants were making the dining room look as though it was not offering a good choice. So they pumped about $14 million into the new menu concept, and we've got a team on board of 4 corporate chefs this week who are now bringing out this new menu. So this is our first week of implementing it. So that was really the honest story behind it.
And also basically a bit of a comment from the guests also sailing with us, a bit of feedback for you guys regarding the menu throughout the years, and that been incorporated in the new menu being rolled out on board now.
Folks, we got time for one more question out here with Carlos. I know obviously there's quite a few of you with questions. We can't get to everybody, unfortunately, because these guys have to get back to work at some point. But if you do have any questions afterwards, I'll be sticking around for a few minutes. Carlos, I think, will stick around with me for a couple minutes as well. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. But we've got time for one, maybe 2 more questions here.
2 questions. My name is Joe. I'm from Syracuse, New York. My first question is for the captain. Second is for all 4 of you. in America, when an American football team gets a new coach, they typically come in and clean house and put all their own preferences in for who works on board. Is it the same for a captain when they come on board, or do you take what's there?
I wish. The answer is no. We get what we get. That's all it is.
That's what he got me.
So look at us, yeah. Anyway. So basically, we work with what we have on board, and that makes this job so challenging, and also positive in many ways. Because sometimes, if you're choosing some of your crew on board, it might not be the best crew either. You feel it's the best crew, but for experience, for the other ones, not. So overall, I think it's nice to have it as it is. We can request someone to come over. We got 800 on board here, or maybe 2. But that's about it. So we need to work with what they have on board, and then use the tools we have on board, and coach them and be with them every day. And then so we see what we get on board today. It's a good crew on board, I think, and they are happy. And a lot of the crew want to come back to this class or ship, the Vision class, because the family feeling on board here is not only running back and forth the distances, because the job is the same on all the ships, but here the short walk to the mess. You have a beautiful back deck for the crew members, so they tend to want to come back here again to these class of ships also. So the crew sign off on vacation, approximately 75% comes back to the same ship again for a couple of more contracts. So we are the same team on board, more or less.
Thank you. And my second question is, for each of you, do you have a favorite destination?
You go first.
Okay, I love Bermuda in many ways, yeah? But I haven't a chance to probably go ashore to explore it yet. I used to sail several years on the Empress to Bermuda, so I love the island. It's a postcard, yeah. But I also like Europe a little bit. I like Napoli because it's total chaos, yeah. It is. I mean, it's like walking ashore there. You cross the street, you almost get not been killed, but you need to just cross the street, and it's good food. The coffee is on the pier, fantastic coffee, and you can, in the morning you dock 6 in the morning. Off the gangway, and you have a best coffee in the world around the corner, yeah? 1 second away, and then and some fresh pastries on board again. All those small things, that's important for us. We don't have too much time to winter ashore, and it's pizza on the corner, and it's all those things, and also the approach to Napoli in the morning is amazing. It's really beautiful as the sun comes up, and approaching Napoli is really beautiful. Okay, Venice is nice, but limited postcard, I think, but Napoli is a city. When it was beautiful coming in there, and the city it's what I think about Italy. It's Napoli. It's total chaos on places, and it's Italian policemen dressed up in their fancy uniforms, and it's total chaos around them. But it's all those things. Yeah? But it's Italy, and I like that taste of Napoli.
So you like chaos?
No, I like Napoli.
Wow. No, I think just to answer both questions. Actually, I think with the industry, the cruise ships, there is a transparency, obviously, with the crew, which we have because it's changing, constantly changing. You know, we have 30 crew signing off tomorrow, 30 new crew coming on board. So unlike a regular hotel or resort, where you have a consistent crew or consistent team, if you like, for probably a year at least, or 2 or 3 years on average. It's a very high turnover of crews. So the company obviously is recruiting for thousands of people, and it's up to us on board to bring that team together, develop them, make sure they're happy in what they do. And that's a big part of our job these days, is crew satisfaction. Where is my favorite destination? I'm getting old, so I would say probably Alaska, Scotland, or Norway, and not because he's from Norway. Somewhere quiet and tranquil. I've done the rest.
One of my favorite places where I have been is Cozumel, Mexico. And but I'm wondering that one day I will go and travel to New Zealand. I want to see that country as well.
I would say my favorite destination is in Panama, Colón, Panama. I know, I love the fact that all the people working on the pier, working with Royal Caribbean, they're always happy no matter what, even though they're always late with the services. And they will tell, en un ratico. that little minute that they ask for can become 2-3 hours waiting, but I still love it. And I joined the company 5 years ago on the Enchantment, and for some strange reason, I'm always working with Captain Espen until now.
And they are not married.
And I didn't choose her either. She's still with me. Anyway, that's about it, I think, yeah, more or less, yeah. Anyway, the week aboard we had together now have been very nice, I think, yeah, so far, yeah. And also the weather has been amazing. So think about when the book cruises, because the springtime can be a little bit rough sometimes towards Bermuda with a lot of sea, but the best days of the year is actually these days we had now in Bermuda, because at times it's very warm and muggy in Bermuda. The May is amazing month, and the temperature I think you had yesterday, perfect, and the weather. So it's not many days like this we have in Bermuda. It's nice there, but I think in my opinion I like these little bit fresh temperatures and sun, of course. Yeah, so we can agree that we had a nice cruise so far. Yeah, and the weather and everything is perfect. And what was important again is that you want to come back and cruise with us after this cruise, yeah? Yes. And then you like Grandeur Seas, because Grandeur Seas actually I like the ship. I'm a captain there. And these class of ship, I say again, it's a little bit different from the Freedom class and the Voyager class. Hopefully we have tried them also, going to try these bigger ships. But to think about these class also, what the qualities we have on board, in regards to the facilities, also the crew on board, and the opportunity to meet fellow guests on board here. And all the centrum of these on board the Vision class and the Readiness class it's unique. With all the light coming in, you can relax, read a book, have a cup of coffee in the morning, a quiet moment is there. So hopefully you enjoy being aboard here, and see you soon again.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in thanking our captain, our chief engineer, our hotel director, and our environmental officer. Thank you all very much. Folks, hope you enjoyed Captain's Corner with us here this morning. They're going to be getting ready for a rehearsal here in the theater in the next couple of minutes, so I'll be right outside the doors there. If you have any other questions you'd like to ask me, feel free to do so. Otherwise, enjoy your day on board. Don't forget, belly flop today, 1:15 by the pool. We'll see you there.